Hello, and welcome to this presentation for the St. Francis-St. Michael's Interchange Improvement Study, located in Santa Fe, New Mexico. My name is Carlos Padilla. I am the Consultant Project Manager for Radian Engineering, who has been hired by the New Mexico Department of Transportation to conduct the study. This presentation is part of the public involvement program being completed for the project. During this presentation, we will discuss the following topics. We will begin with an overview of the NMDOT study team and briefly describe the study process that will be followed. We will review the purpose and need for the project and discuss two previously completed studies that relate to the St. Francis-St. Michael's interchange and describe how the current study will build upon those earlier efforts. We will provide an overview of the study area under consideration and discuss a number of existing conditions and key project issues to be evaluated under the current study. Next, we will review the findings of the Phase A study, which included a screening of the initial alternatives that were identified as potential improvement concepts for the project and recommended the most favorable alternatives to be advanced for further evaluation under the current study. Our team's environmental lead will discuss the environmental investigations and analysis that will be completed as part of the study, and he will provide information as to how you as members of the public can provide your input on the project and the alternatives under consideration. We will conclude the presentation with the next steps for the project development process and the time frame for completion of the Phase B study. Our study team is being led by the New Mexico Department of Transportation. Mr. Javier Martinez, Assistant District Engineer, will be representing the District 5 office. Mr. Esteban Gonzalez is the Project Development Engineer from the North Region Design Office, and Ms. Jennifer Mullins is representing the department's Environmental Bureau. Radian Engineering will lead the consultant team on this project. My name is Carlos Padilla. I am the Consultant Project Manager. Our environmental sub-consultant for the project is Ecosphere Environmental Services. They are being led by Mr. John Toshek. Also joining us on the consultant team is Ms. Claudia Meyer-Horn with Design Office. Claudia's main focus on the project will be addressing bicycle and pedestrian needs. Staff members from the Santa Fe Metropolitan Planning Organization and the City of Santa Fe Public Works Department are also members of the study team. The study process will follow the NMDOT location study procedures, which utilizes a phased approach to project development. We are currently in the study phase of the project. Tonight's presentation will primarily focus on analysis completed as part of the initial evaluation of alternatives and describe how that earlier work will be incorporated into the current Phase B study. Receiving public input on the work being undertaken throughout the study is an important part of the study process. The stated purpose and need for the St. Francis-St. Michael's Interchange Improvement Project is to address physical, operational, and safety deficiencies and to enhance pedestrian and bicycle connectivity throughout the interchange area. Transportation planning efforts for the St. Francis Drive corridor began 10 years ago with a 6-mile corridor study that began at Rabbit Road, south of Interstate 25, and ended at the New Mexico 599 interchange. The 2010 study identified improvements for the St. Francis-St. Michael's interchange as the #1 priority project for the corridor. The NMDOT completed a Phase A alternative study for the interchange in 2018. The study verified the need for action and included an analysis of needed improvements. A range of potential improvement alternatives were evaluated, and those alternatives found to be inferior or unfeasible were eliminated. The Phase B study will provide additional evaluation and analysis for the remaining alternatives and will provide opportunities for public participation in the study process. A preferred alternative for the project will be selected under the Phase B study. The project study area is shown in the figure to the right. Along St. Francis Drive, it begins at the intersection with Siringo Road to the south and ends at the West San Mateo Road intersection to the north. Along St. Michael's Drive, it begins at the South Pacheco Street intersection to the west and ends at the intersection with East Galisteo Street to the east. The project study area includes 5 signalized intersections and 1 unsignalized intersection. St. Francis Drive, also known as US 84-285, is an important regional facility. It provides access from I-25 to the south to a number of communities located north of Santa Fe within the north-central part of the state. Both St. Francis Drive and St. Michael's Drive are important arterial roadways within the Santa Fe local transportation network. Roadway features within the study area are as follows. Along St. Francis Drive, there are 3 11-foot lanes in each direction with no outside shoulders and a center median area. Along St. Michael's Drive, there are currently 6 lanes west of the southbound ramp intersection and 4 lanes east of the northbound off-ramp intersection. Within the core of the interchange, auxiliary lanes are added and dropped between ramps and intersections. The interchange is currently configured as a partial diamond on the west and as a partial clover leaf on the east. Key issues include a lack of merge lanes at the 3 on-ramp locations and tight weave conditions as vehicles attempt to cross from the far outside right lane to turn left at the East Galisteo Street and West San Mateo Street intersections. The existing interchange bridge carries St. Francis Drive over St. Michael's Drive. The bridge is 106 foot long by 92 foot wide with a 14-foot center median. The structure is comprised of a reinforced concrete box girder superstructure with full-height reinforced concrete abutments. There are a number of key issues to be considered under the current study. The existing bridge is now approaching 50 years in age. The existing bridge deck is too narrow to accommodate a merge lane from the northbound on-ramp. A recent load rating analysis found the structure to be 43% under capacity. The bridge is classified as structurally deficient and functionally obsolete, and the structure type is not considered a good candidate for rehabilitation. Multimodal facilities. There are currently limited pedestrian and bicycle facilities within the study area. Pedestrian signals and crosswalks are found at some, but not all of the intersections. There is existing sidewalk along St. Francis Drive north of the project area and along St. Michael's Drive west of South Pacheco Street and east of Galisteo Street. There's a multi-use trail that runs along the east side of St. Francis Drive from Syringa Road to Galisteo Street that continues south and connects to the rail trail. On-street bicycle lanes can be found on St. Michael's Drive east of Galisteo Street and at the cross-street intersections of Syringa Road and West San Mateo Road. There are 4 transit operators currently operating within the study area. They include the Santa Fe Trails bus service, the NMDOT shuttle service, the North Central Regional Transit District bus service, and the Rail Runner commuter train, which utilizes the Zia station located just south of the project area. Key multimodal issues to be considered under the study include a lack of pedestrian access along St. Francis Drive and connectivity to the surrounding neighborhoods, missing sidewalks and unmarked pedestrian crossings along St. Michael's Drive, long crossing distances and lack of pedestrian refuge at intersections, and missing or inadequate bicycle facilities on St. Michael's Drive and at intersection cross streets. Traffic operations. Both St. Francis Drive and St. Michael's Drive are heavily traveled roadways. Currently, almost 45,000 vehicles per day travel along St. Francis Drive, and just over 26,000 vehicles per day travel along St. Michael's Drive. Peak hour traffic volumes at the 5 major intersections located within the study area are shown in the table. The morning peak hour occurs between 7:30 and 8:30 a.m., and the evening peak hour occurs between 4:45 and 5:45 p.m. Existing traffic counts show that intersection traffic volumes during the p.m. peak hour are slightly higher than those found during the a.m. peak hour. Traffic operations analysis shows that all intersections currently operate without excessive delay during the a.m. peak hour, as measured by an overall level of service rating of D or better on a grading scale of A to F. However, some turn lanes at the Syringa Road and West San Mateo Road intersections lack sufficient vehicle storage, causing turning vehicles to spill over into the through lane and block the path of vehicles wishing to go straight. During the p.m. peak hour, the intersection level of service is also acceptable. However, slightly longer delays occur versus the a.m. peak hour. The Siringo Road intersection currently operates at a level of service D during the PM peak hour, and efficient turn lane storage is found at all intersections. Safety. A 3-year safety analysis was completed for the project. 222 total crashes were found to have occurred within the study area over the 3-year period. 82 of the crashes resulted in injury, and there were 3 pedestrian accidents, 1 resulting in a fatality. The study also identified several hotspot locations where clusters of accidents were found to have occurred within the study area. The hotspot locations were as follows. At 2 of the on-ramp entrance locations from St. Michael's Drive onto St. Francis Drive where no merge lane exists. At the southbound on and off-ramp intersection on St. Michael's Drive. On St. Michael's Drive at the eastbound approach to the Galisteo Street intersection, and at all 4 of the outlying signalized intersections. The number and type of crashes found to have occurred at the on-ramps to St. Francis Drive were found to be directly attributable to the lack of available merge area at those locations. The figure to the right illustrates an accident cluster or hotspot at the southbound on-ramp entrance to St. Francis Drive. We will now review the initial alternatives that were evaluated under the Phase A alternative study. 9 initial alternatives were identified. The alternatives can be grouped into 3 basic categories: 2 base alternatives, 2 at-grade intersection alternatives, and 5 interchange alternatives. The initial screening of these alternatives was based upon a comparative evaluation of how each alternative would address the underlying needs of the project. Performance criteria included addressing physical deficiencies, improving traffic operations, safety improvements, constructability and maintenance of traffic during construction, and estimated project cost. A key objective of this presentation and public meeting is to obtain input from you, members of the public, on the information presented from the Phase A study prior to proceeding with the upcoming Phase B study. 2 base alternatives were considered under the Phase A study. The no-build alternative would include no improvements to the existing interchange and is maintained as a basis for comparison of the other study alternatives. Prior to 2005, St. Francis Drive existed as a 4-lane roadway within the study area. It was restriped at that time to add an additional lane in either direction to accommodate increasing traffic volumes on St. Francis Drive. This action eliminated the outside shoulder areas and merge lanes at the 3 on-ramp entrances to St. Francis Drive. Under the restripe existing St. Francis Drive alternative, the roadway would be returned to a 4-lane section, which would reestablish and improve the merge areas at the on-ramp entrances to St. Francis. This alternative would not address the project needs and would reduce the current number of travel lanes on St. Francis Drive through the interchange. There were also 2 at-grade intersection alternatives evaluated under the study. Under the signalized intersection alternative, the existing bridge over St. Michael's Drive and all ramps within the interchange area would be removed and replaced with a single signalized at-grade intersection at St. Francis Drive and St. Michael's Drive. Under this alternative, improvements would also be made to the 4 existing outlying intersections. The at-grade signalized intersection alternative would address the project needs, provide an at-grade alternative for comparison with the interchange alternatives, and would experience reduced impacts to traffic during construction versus several of the other alternatives. It would also have a lower project cost versus the interchange alternatives. This alternative would require a large multi-lane intersection in order to accommodate traffic passing through the intersection, and would carry with it several traffic operation and safety disadvantages as compared to some of the other alternatives. Under the modern roundabout alternative, similar improvements would be made, but rather than building an at-grade signalized intersection, a modern roundabout would be constructed. This alternative would address the project needs and would have a lower project cost versus some of the other alternatives. However, it would present concerns over driver expectations in navigating through a large multi-lane roundabout, have a number of operational and safety disadvantages, and cause severe impacts to traffic during construction. There were 5 interchange alternatives evaluated under the study. Under the diamond interchange alternative, The existing alignment along St. Francis Drive would be maintained and a new bridge built over St. Michael's Drive. The ramps on the west side of the interchange would be improved at their current location, while the ramps on the east side of the interchange would be removed and replaced with new ramps to form a diamond configuration. New auxiliary lanes would be built along southbound and northbound St. Francis Drive to accommodate traffic entering onto the main line from the new on-ramps. All 4 of the existing outlined intersections would be improved under this alternative, as would be the case under all of the other interchange alternatives under consideration. The Diamond Interchange alternative would address the project needs and would provide for a greater range of potential benefits versus some of the other alternatives. Traffic impacts during construction would occur at an increased level versus some of the other alternatives, and the project would have a higher cost to construct. Under the ramp reconfiguration alternative, the 2 existing on-ramps on the east side of the interchange would be removed and replaced with a single on-ramp from St. Michael's Drive. The existing northbound off-ramp and 2 ramps on the west side of the interchange would be improved at or near their current locations. New auxiliary lanes would be constructed along southbound and northbound St. Francis Drive to accommodate traffic entering onto the main line from the new on-ramps. This alternative would require a new and widened bridge over St. Michael's Drive. The ramp reconfiguration alternative would address the project needs and would provide for a greater range of potential benefits versus the other alternatives. It would provide more flexibility for accommodating traffic during construction, resulting in more moderate impacts. This alternative, as with all the interchange alternatives, would have a high project cost. Under the single-point urban interchange alternative, the entire interchange would be removed and reconstructed into a new configuration. The existing alignment of St. Francis Drive would be maintained and a new bridge over St. Michael's Drive would be constructed. The on-ramps would be reconfigured to form a single at-grade signalized intersection on St. Michael's Drive underneath the new bridge. New auxiliary lanes would be built along southbound and northbound St. Francis Drive to accommodate traffic entering onto the main line from the new on-ramps. The single-point urban interchange alternative would address the project needs and would provide for a more moderate range of potential benefits versus some of the other alternatives. Increased levels of traffic impact would be experienced during construction, and the project would have a high cost to construct. Under the diverging diamond interchange alternative, similar improvements would be made along St. Francis Drive, including a new bridge to be built over St. Michael's Drive. New auxiliary lanes would be built along southbound and northbound St. Francis Drive to accommodate traffic entering onto St. Francis from the new on-ramps. Along St. Michael's Drive, significant improvements would be made with non-traditional intersections being built to accommodate the new diverging diamond configuration, which eliminates left-hand turn movements at the intersections. The diverging diamond alternative would address the project needs, but would be expected to have several safety disadvantages as compared to some of the other alternatives. It would have severe impacts to traffic during construction and would require additional right-of-way on St. Michael's Drive, and would have a high project cost. The final interchange alternative is the split bridge northbound-southbound left-on access alternative. Under this alternative, a portion of St. Francis Drive and the existing bridge over St. Michael's Drive would be removed and replaced with new northbound and southbound alignments on St. Francis Drive, leading to 2 twin new bridges to be built over St. Michael's. Under this alternative, the existing on-ramps on the west and east sides of the interchange would be removed. Drivers wishing to access St. Francis Drive would do so from a new intersection on St. Michael's Drive located between the new bridges, and new on-ramps that would be built along the old roadway alignment. This would require vehicles entering onto St. Francis Drive to merge into the inside lane from the left-hand side. The existing southbound off-ramp would be reconstructed at its existing location, and a new northbound off-ramp would be constructed in the area of the old Cloverleaf ramp on the east side of the interchange. The split bridge left-on access alternative would address the project needs and would provide for a greater range of potential benefits versus the other alternatives. Traffic impacts during construction would be substantially reduced as compared to the other alternatives. This alternative would utilize a non-conventional left-on access configuration under the final condition and would have a high project cost. Through the Phase A screening analysis, the alternatives with the greatest potential for meeting the needs of the project were identified. Inferior or unfeasible alternatives were eliminated from further consideration. The alternatives eliminated from further study include restripe existing St. Francis Drive, the modern roundabout, the single-point urban interchange, and the diverging diamond interchange. Although the no-build alternative would not meet the needs of the project, it remains under consideration as a basis for comparison with the build alternatives. In addition to the no-build alternatives, the following alternatives will be advanced for further evaluation under the Phase B study: the at-grade signalized intersection, the diamond interchange, the ramp reconfiguration interchange, and the split bridge northbound-southbound left-on access interchange.
Hello, my name is John Toshik with Ecosphere Environmental Services. Our role is to prepare the environmental investigations, which will take place in the upcoming study phases. Because the project involves federal funding, we will comply with the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. NEPA requires that environmental and community factors be considered in the project decision-making process. A wide range of environmental and community topics will be considered, as shown on the slide, but only those relevant to the project will be studied in detail. Some of the issues that we expect will be key for the St. Francis-St. Michael's interchange include traffic noise in the adjacent residential neighborhoods, including possible mitigation measures such as noise walls, visual effects, and possible opportunities for aesthetic enhancements, and improved multimodal connectivity, including bicycle, pedestrian, and transit facilities. An important part of the NEPA process is public involvement, which is what we are beginning with this presentation. This slide shows how you can participate in the study and provide input. During the live virtual meeting on May 18th, you can ask questions or make comments, and we will respond with answers or more information. We will record the meeting so you may also view it later. The project website shown here contains the study report that Carlos described, maps and graphics, a comment form, and other project information. You can also view the recorded presentation and submit comments or questions on the website at any time during the comment period. The website will also be updated regularly to keep you informed. In addition to the live virtual meeting and website comment form, you can submit questions and comments to me via email or mail at the addresses shown here. We would like to have your comments by June 16, 2021. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to your involvement in the study.
The following are a few of the key milestones to be expected on this project. The Phase B detailed evaluation of alternatives will take place between April and November of this year. A second public meeting will be held in November to discuss the findings of the study. We anticipate that a preferred alternative for the project will be selected at the end of this year, and that the Phase B study will be completed by March of 2022. At that point, the project will enter into the preliminary design phase. Construction funds for the project are currently anticipated to be available in late 2026. On behalf of the entire study team, I would like to thank you for your interest in this project. Our team looks forward to receiving your input.